Hey everyone, my name is Emily, also known as Emily the Mystic. I'm a spiritual medium, an intuitive mentor, a psychic development coach for women, and a quantum energy healer. And in this video, I am talking about my top 8 ways to know if you have psychic gifts too. I remember when I was first going through my psychic development journey that I would read a lot of articles online, take a lot of quizzes to figure out if I had psychic gifts, and I was often disappointed because I felt like the information that exists out there about psychic gifts didn't really resonate with what I was going through in my own life. So I am demystifying all of that stuff that exists out there on the internet, and I'm sharing with you my top 8 ways to know if you are psychic or not. Hint, we all have psychic gifts. And I think you're going to feel so good after watching this video about unlocking your own intuition and working with your own psychic powers. So let's get into it. Okay, so in this video, I'm going through my top 8 ways so that you can know whether or not you have psychic gifts in your own life. One of the top questions that I get asked as a psychic medium is, how is it possible for people to open up their psychic gifts later in life? I thought that you had to be born with psychic powers. We get this idea through TV and the media that you have to have these really strong senses as a child. You have to see ghosts, you have to communicate with dead people, you have to have all of these different things going on, be able to see energy around people in order to have psychic gifts. In my own life, that has not been the case for me, and in fact, I opened my gifts later in life, but I did have a few indicators when I was a child that have led up to my work now as a psychic and spiritual medium, and I'm going to be sharing with you all of those things. So first of all, it is absolutely possible to open up your psychic and intuitive gifts later in life. The analogy that I like to use with this is talking about a basketball player. So are there people who were born naturally to play basketball and who end up in the NBA just through genetics and predisposition to be able to play basketball? Absolutely. But if maybe you weren't born with those skills to be able to play basketball, could you practice really, really hard every single day and eventually make it into the NBA? Absolutely. Working with your psychic gifts is just like exercising a muscle. It gets stronger with practice, it gets stronger with time, and it's absolutely possible for you to flex your psychic muscle and be able to open up those intuitive gifts later in life. No matter if you are 15 years old or if you're 50 years old, you can still work with your psychic and intuitive gifts. And I'm a big believer that we all have the power of intuition. We all have a certain type of psychic gift that is natural to us to be able to use and to open up, but we're not taught to work with these gifts. We're not taught how to use our psychic gifts. So they often get buried as we grow up and we go to school and we get normal day-to-day jobs. We forget about our psychic gifts that we may have had as children, but it's still absolutely possible to start working with them again later in life. So don't think that just because you have never tapped into the side of yourself before that it's not possible. It is so possible. It happened for me really quickly, and it is possible for you too. So my number one indicator that you have strong psychic or intuitive gifts is that you enjoy spiritual and new age and alternative topics. So you're already watching this video, which basically is telling me and telling you that you already have psychic gifts because you're curious about it. That means that you have psychic gifts if you are curious about it, first of all. So if you've enjoyed topics like astrology, auras, numerology, maybe you love watching shows like Tyler the Medium or Monica the Medium, or any type of show about about paranormal activities and so forth, or movies about the paranormal, you absolutely, with those interests, have psychic gifts. This is a huge indicator because Your soul is telling you to explore those interests further because there's something there that needs to be discovered. Often, I am a huge believer in past lives. And usually, when we feel inclined to study or read about or explore spiritual topics, it's because we've had one or more past lives as a medicine woman, as a shaman, as a healer, as a witch, or any combination of all of those things. And those past life gifts are absolutely possible for you to tap into today. So don't think that this is a brand new topic to your soul. In fact, your soul has studied this topic for lifetimes before. So it's actually more about remembering those gifts and relearning how to use them and opening them up again. So if that's any comfort, know that you have had a past life as one of those many spiritual types of people, and that's what has led you to watch this video today. Number 2, during childhood, you were very creative and imaginative, and you loved fantasy and creating your own world and your own reality around you. I personally had a lot of imaginary friends, and I often talked to myself a lot, and I really enjoyed playing alone and playing games with myself and with my imaginary friends, who, let's be real, aren't so imaginary. They are actually your spirit guides, and as children, we have very open crown chakras and very open ability to connect to spirit, to connect to our guides, to connect to our angels and our loved ones on the other side. It is with societal conditioning and programming that teaches us to turn off and turn away from those gifts. But children are very naturally connected to the spirit world because they're so close to it. They came from the spirit world when they chose to incarnate into this lifetime. So they're very close to being in the spirit world. And through the experience of living as a human on earth, they are taught to ignore some of those things. So if you remember from childhood that you loved arts and crafts, maybe you loved fantasy, you loved reading books about fantasy, you loved watching movies about fantasy, you loved dragons and unicorns and mermaids and fantastical adventures and Lord of the Rings and Avatar and Harry Potter and all of those awesome movies about witchcraft and wizardry and uncovering the fantastical worlds around us, that is a huge indicator that you have psychic gifts because your soul loves those things, because your soul has experienced other lifetimes in parallel universes and experiences that felt more like those movies that you watched and loved as a child. Super interesting, right? You may have had a lifetime where you lived a very Harry Potter-esque lifestyle. It's absolutely possible. So having those interests as a child, especially if you ask one of your parents if you like to talk to yourself, or if you had a lot of imaginary friends, or if you would mention grandma's name when grandma had passed away and you had never met grandma, huge indicator that you could communicate with grandma when you were growing up and that you have psychic gifts. Number 3 indicator that you have psychic gifts, you are a people person and you are always the friend that people come to for advice and guidance. This is a huge one, especially if you have really great listening skills and you have a really great way of being able to hear people and be able to listen to their experiences and guide them along their paths. A lot of us as psychics and intuitives, we tend to pick up people along the way who need a little bit of extra help in their lives. And therefore, that is a big indicator that you have psychic gifts because you are really good at reading people, you're really good at working with people, you're really good at listening and allowing others to be heard, and you're really good at communicating to others some advice or guidance that they need to take in their own lives. That's literally you doing a psychic reading for your friend by offering them advice and guidance. Not all of that is coming for you, I shall say. Some of that is coming from your spirit guides. And we shall talk about that in a separate video, all about spirit guides. Number 4, you have moments where you just know that something is going to happen and then it does. So this is premonition. This is having that strong gut feeling that something is going to happen and then it actually happens. So if you've ever had a moment where there was a flurry of activity in front of you and you just knew that your friend was going to drop their drink and spill it all over the table, and then here it is, it happens 10 seconds later, that is a very strong indicator that you have psychic gifts and abilities. This also really goes into having strong gut feelings and gut inclinations. Maybe you just feel like you shouldn't take a certain route when you're in traffic because your psychic gifts are telling you that you're going to get stuck in even more traffic by taking that other route. Maybe you just know that a certain job opportunity isn't going to work out, so you don't choose to pursue it. Maybe you just know that something is going to happen, it's going to cause a rainy day for a party that you planned, so you start to plan it inside. These are all really good indicators that you have psychic gifts, and that is you working with your psychic gift of claircognizance, clear knowing, clairsentience, clear feeling with your gut feelings, and being able to perceive if something is going to happen. Number 5, you are really good at reading people and knowing their true intentions. So you're really great at meeting someone for the first time and knowing whether or not they have your best intentions at heart, whether or not this person is being truthful or if they are lying to you, and whether or not this person is a good person to have in your life. You are just really good at naturally reading people. Maybe you just know that this person is going to backstab you in a way, and so you kind of like keep them at arm's distance. Or maybe you just know that a business deal isn't going to work out because you feel like the other person isn't truthful in the deal. These are all really huge indicators that you have psychic gifts. Number 6, you are naturally really sensitive to everything. This is a huge one because we can't be in other people's bodies. Sometimes we don't even realize how sensitive we are to things. So first of all, if you're really sensitive to energy, if you're sensitive to being around other people, if you know that if you're around a certain friend who's really negative, you're going to leave that conversation just feeling drained and tired and exhausted, that's a huge indicator that you have psychic gifts. If you are really sensitive to walking into a room and just being able to read the room immediately, know the energy in the room, know whether it's positive or negative, know whether the conversation that's being had is positive or negative, that's a huge indicator that you have psychic gifts because you are naturally really sensitive to energy. If you feel really uncomfortable around heavy material, heavy topics, if you have difficulty watching really heavy, dark stuff on TV, whether that be the news, whether that be a heavy, dark movie, or reading a book about really heavy topics, and you just feel really sensitive to this. Maybe you cry during movies, you cry during a TV show, and you are just really, your emotions are really naturally sensitive to external stimuli. That's a huge indicator that you have psychic gifts. If you're really sensitive to sensory input in general, so I remember when I was growing up, I hated wearing jeans. I had to wear leggings. I had to wear soft clothing. I couldn't wear anything scratchy. It drove me crazy. I'm still the same way. I still like wearing loose, flowy clothes. That's a huge indicator. If you're really sensitive to smells, or if you have really particular tastes and you can only eat certain types of foods, if you're really sensitive to eating foods, if your stomach is really sensitive, if you react to things, if you have really sensitive skin and your skin reacts to everything, if you react to medications, if you're that person who gets the 1% of people who are going to have this side effect kind of deal, and you're the person that gets it, huge indicator that you have psychic gifts because you are naturally very sensitive. And sensitivity is amazing. It's a superpower because it allows you to tune into energetic frequencies that a lot of people have deadened their senses to be able to tune into, which makes it possible for you to perceive psychic stimuli. So By no means should you think that being sensitive to other people, to energy, to physical stimuli is a negative thing. It is your superpower, and it is going to allow you to tap into your psychic gifts so much more easily. Number 7, you are really connected to children and animals. If you are one of those people who the animal is just like in your lap as soon as you go into your friend's house, or that your friend's child is just like cooing at you and giving you hugs, and they're always around you, they always want you to play, you're always the playful one in the friend group, and you just like naturally attract children and animals to you. Maybe you work with kids on a daily basis, maybe you have kids or you have a lot of kids, maybe you're a teacher, or maybe you love animals and you have a lot of animals in your house, or you're always petting your friends' dogs. Huge indicator that you have psychic gifts, because you are naturally in tune with more sensitive energies. Again, children are very sensitive to psychic stimuli. So the fact that a child is very attracted to your energy is a huge indicator that you have psychic gifts. Same with animals. Animals are super tuned in. They are very intuitive themselves, and they already can tell that you can connect with them on a deeper level than other people can. So that is a huge indicator that you have psychic gifts. And finally, my number 8 way to know if you have psychic gifts is if you have very vivid dreams, or if you have had a vivid dream of meeting with a loved one who has passed away, who is on the other side. So you don't have to have vivid dreams every single night, but if you know about yourself in general that you often have really vivid dreams with a lot of different stuff going on, there's a lot of symbolism, maybe you have really fantastical dreams where you are fighting in galactic wars and having crazy adventures, and you're traveling and this, that, and the other, that is a huge indicator that you have psychic gifts. In fact, dreaming is an ability. It's actually an ability that you can train to learn to tap into, to perceive psychic information from the spirit world, which is really, really cool. And also, when you are meeting with a loved one in a dream, our dreams take place in the astral realm, which is where our loved ones on the other side reside. The astral realm is also known as heaven. So when you're dreaming, you are traveling to the astral realm. And so it makes it easier for you to be able to meet with a loved one who has passed away. And I want you to know that if you've ever had an experience like that, that was you meeting with the soul of your loved one who is on the other side. So super cool if that has ever happened to you. So exciting, and especially if you've ever felt like you've received a sign from a loved one on the other side, that's another indicator that you have psychic gifts. All right, guys, those are my top 8 ways to know whether or not you have psychic gifts. Leave me a comment below which one most resonated with you, or maybe there were more than one. And if you think that you have psychic gifts, I can't wait to find out. I promise, if you're watching this video, if you found this video, you were led here for a reason, and you definitely have psychic gifts and abilities, and I can't wait to find out how they open up for you. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel for more awesome information and videos all about psychic phenomena, all about mediumship, all about galactic cosmic adventures. I'm the girl for you. This is Emily the Mystic, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.